number of important supporters. The main ones are here on the screen, not quite on this, there we go. The Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation and the Alfred P. Sloan Foundations have been these two major sponsors of the sort of foundation of the eScience Institute, and provided substantial support over a 5-year period for our institute to really explore, just try a lot of new things, you know, and just really experiment. And one of the things that came out of that is this Hack Week, which I'll talk about in a moment. So we just wanted to thank all of these sponsors, and then all of the departments around campus who just are really interested in advancing our education as data scientists, have contributed funds as well, including the School of Environmental and Forest Sciences. We'll be having an event, a happy hour tomorrow, supported by them as well. So just wanted to mention that. So you're probably wondering, you know, what's this idea of a Hack Week? What's our goal in putting on an event like this? And I just wanted to talk for about 5 more minutes about what we're striving for in this event, what our mission is. After that, I'm going to turn it over to Catherine to talk a little bit about our code of conduct. And then we'll do a little bit of an icebreaker activity. And after that, we'll hand it over to Ben for our first tutorial on Git and GitHub. But I just wanted to put a little bit of context around what we're trying to achieve with this week, because you may not have heard of the Hack Week concept before. I have on the screen a paper that we just published in PNAS. Encourage you to read it if you're interested in sort of these methods of providing workshops in data science education. But it just shows that we've, at eScience, been really trying to think about ways that we can expand education and community building within the data science community. And the idea of the Hack Week came out of some work my colleagues in astronomy were doing about 8 years ago. And they kind of recognized this 2 things they needed to really be bringing to their community. One is, and you can kind of represent it on these 2 different axes. One is this idea of a focus on pedagogy. There was a need to teach people about new data science tools and libraries. And if you look at traditional academic curricula, they're not offering, you know, some of the things we'll be teaching you this week are new as of this year. It's difficult for that to get into a traditional pathway of a university or a college education. So there was a need to find new ways to bring this content to the community. So that's the one axis of pedagogy, which generally is handled through a summer school or, you know, some expert standing in front of the room delivering knowledge out to a group. The other axis is this idea of, you know, our communities need to begin building open source software to help students and faculty find ways, and of course people in industry and government as well, to build new tools to solve the big problems that we're all trying to solve. And this is commonly handled through people getting together in a room, eating a lot of pizza, staying up all night, and, you know, hacking away on some software. And so we wanted to create a space where both of these kinds of things, we're not going to stay up all night, I don't think, hopefully, but where we can be, you know, offering somewhere in the middle of those 2 axes. So that's where our Hack Week concept kind of tries to, the space that we're trying to fill. And there's different variations on that. So my astronomy colleagues did Astro Hack Week, and then all of us started to spin up our own versions. There was a Neuro Hack Week version, and then I came along with my colleagues here to put together Geohackweek 3 years ago. So what I wanted to emphasize is that, you know, the metrics of success for an event like this are a little bit different from if you were on either of those extremes. You know, a success of a summer school is, did these students learn a specific amount of information, or we might test them at the end or something like that. For a Hack Week, it might be we created some amazing software at the end of our couple of days working together. And while those might be, you know, great outcomes, we hope that those kinds of things will happen in this space. Really, to me, the main metric of success of this event is, did you as an individual do the learning that you needed to do while you were here? And I think each one of you has a sense of what that might be. You might be a graduate student and you're excited about your project and thinking about how your data might be analyzed differently with some of the new things that we show you this week, and you make some progress there. You might hear about a new library you hadn't even known existed and decide to spend all of the week just digging into that one library to learn a bit more. And you might come up with an amazing new software idea that we then spin up and we work on months after this event. This would all be great, but our point is that we're not here to kind of provide some kind of measure on whether you succeeded here or not, sort of externally. It's what do you need to do? We're here to challenge you and provide a space for you to do the learning that you've come to do and to help you kind of figure out what a pathway for that might be. So that's kind of our overall goal. It creates a different structure in how we organize an event like this. We're not shooting for a specific set of learning objectives. And in fact, we're creating some space for us to do some peer learning. If there's expertise in the room around a topic that we might not know about, we're going to have a space later in the week for us to teach each other about these things. So we'll say a bit more about that later, but that's kind of our overall mission. So now we have a lot of hack weeks going on at eScience. There was those 3 core ones that formed the basis of that paper. We have Ocean Hack Week is a couple of weeks ago. Freshwater Hack's going to happen. These more sort of domain-specific hack weeks. If you have ideas, you want to spin up one of these at your own institute as well, come talk to us. We're really interested in exploring this model in different forms. But the core mission of every hack week, I think, is these sort of components of community building, of building software together, learning about what it means to build reproducible software in a group setting, learning about open software practices, networking, connecting with folks in industry, finding out about career pathways in data science, because this is a new landscape for all of us. So this is, we think, a really great space for us to explore some of that. So, the most fundamental thing in terms of achieving this mission is that we all start our time together in a way where we have kind of a shared understanding of how we plan to relate to one another this week. We need to have a space where we are confident that we can show up and work together in a welcoming space. And so the core piece of that is to have a really clear understanding of our code of conduct. Okay, so I'd want to hand it over to Catherine to talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you so much, Anthony, and welcome everyone to Seattle. My name is Catherine Kuhn. I'm a PhD student here in the School of Forestry and Environmental Science. And as Anthony mentioned, the code of conduct is really central in creating the foundation for a positive learning space for everyone to be here on the same kind of playing field. And you've already seen it several times. We sent it to you in, I think, one of our first communications, and you've seen it on the wiki and the website. And it's so important to us that we feel that it's important to take the time to go over it as a group together. So I'm going to just go ahead and read this statement, and you can see it on the board up there, and just kind of listen and think about what it says and what it might mean for you and your experience here this week. So Geohackweek is dedicated to providing a harassment-free learning experience for everyone, regardless of gender, gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, age, or religion. We do not tolerate harassment of participants in any form. Sexual language and imagery is not appropriate for any conference venue, including talks. Conference participants violating these rules may be sanctioned or expelled from the conference without a refund at the discretion of the organizers. Harassment includes, but is not limited to, verbal comments that reinforce social structures of domination related to gender, gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, age, religion, sexual images in public spaces, deliberate intimidation, stalking, or following, harassing photography or recording, sustained disruption of talks or other events, inappropriate physical contact, unwelcome sexual attention, advocating for or encouraging any of the above behavior. So thank you for taking that moment with all of us to think through that. This code of conduct is widely used at eScience and all the other hack weeks, and all the organizers here have been over this code of conduct, and we're all here to support the upholding of this code of conduct during this week. Speaking of organizers, actually, let's check this. So before I introduce the organizers, I just want to note that there's 3 mechanisms for if you see a violation of the code of conduct, or if you're not sure about something, you have some questions about it. There are 3 mechanisms for reporting. You can reach out to any of the organizers, who I'll introduce in a second. You can also contact Anthony or I directly through our email or Slack, or just talk to us in person. And then on the wiki page, under the code of conduct page, there's an actual anonymous reporting form that you can also report there. And we always want to do better every year in Geohack, so if you do see something, please say something, and don't feel afraid to bring it up in any of these formats. The other last thing I want to say is that if anyone has any questions about the code of conduct, or you feel like you're not going to be able to abide by it this week, please immediately contact Anthony and I today during the first break and let us know, and we can talk about it further. So So thanks for listening. As I said, we are super lucky to have a fantastic crew of organizers here this week to help us all through the day. And I think there's a whole bunch of us kind of splattered around the back here. But what I'm going to have the organizers do is I'm going to have them stand up really briefly. Yeah, and we're going to give them a big round of applause for coming this week and giving their time. We have, between all of the organizers and the participants, we have an amazing amount of expertise in this room. And so what I'm going to do is have each organizer go around really quickly, say your name, your affiliation, like where you came from, and why you're excited to be here this week. And we're going to start with you.
Hey, I'm Friedrich. I'm excited to be here this week because I was here last year and it was an awesome event. Excited to work with all you guys, and I'm a PhD student here at the UW.
Hi everyone, my name is Tony Canestra. I'm a PhD student in the Department of Biology here at the University of Washington, and I participated as a participant in Geohackweek 2 years ago and learned some skills that have definitely propelled my research, so I'm hopeful that at least a handful of you get that experience as well.
Hi, I'm James Douglas. I'm a software engineer with the Natural Capital Project based at Stanford University. And in the interest of shared learning, I work with geospatial software all the time, but I've coming to these events for the last several years. I feel like I learn far more than I'm able to contribute to this event. So I'm really excited for that shared learning with all of you.
Hi, I'm Shay Strong. I'm the Director of Machine Learning and Data Science at EagleView, which is a local company. I have never been to a Geohackweek. I'm super excited to hear about some of the projects and just be involved and participate. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Hi again, I'm Rachel Murray, and I'm the program specialist at the eScience Institute. And I just started at the eScience Institute in March, so this is my first Geohackweek, so I'm excited to be here as well.
Hi, I'm Don Sediowan, and I am a computer specialist here at the UW Oceanography. And I am very excited to help out with any just best practices and also just share my knowledge on that sort of things.
I'm Christina Bandaragoda. I'm a research scientist at civil engineering here at UW. And this is my third Geohackweek, and I love projects. I think what comes out of the project, the process of developing projects together and the diversity is my favorite part of Geohackweek. So I'm excited to see what happens with your projects and everything that you learned this week, highs and lows. Like, please let us know how that goes because we have a Water Hack Week coming up in March, and we want to learn from you as much as possible.
I am Emilio Mayorga. I'm a research scientist and data science person at the Applied Physics Lab, and this is my third year at Geohackweek, and I just look forward to interacting with all of you. It's fun both exchanging what I think I know or don't know and learning from you about your interest about science and technical. So looking forward to this.
Hi everybody, I'm Ben Weinstein. I'm a data fellow at the University of Florida, but I live in Portland. And this is my third year helping out with Geohackweek, and I love this stuff. It's really fun.
Amanda Tan. I work at the eScience Institute and have an affiliation with UWIT. I work on research computing, and this is my third year at Geohackweek, and I am constantly learning from everyone at Geohackweek, so that's why I'm here.
I'm not an organizer. I'm Mike Goodchild. I've been around this technology for 50 years. I happen to live in Seattle. I've written textbooks on this stuff, and it just occurred to me that it might be there might be some advice I can provide at some stage. Please feel free. I won't be able to be here the whole time, but I'm fascinated by this whole enterprise and really excited to see what's happening.
Thank you so much, organizers, and thank you guys for showing up today. I'm going to pass the mic back to Anthony. He's going to talk about what we're going to do next.
All right, thank you, everyone. So what we're going to do next is just a little bit of an icebreaker activity. You know, I mentioned that this is a different type of event. We're going to just explore and experiment with a few different types of facilitation techniques throughout the week. So we just invite you to take part in these if you feel comfortable. Everything is invitational. If it's something that doesn't fit for you, this is totally fine. We just invite you to sit back and listen. But we wanted to give you a chance to start interacting with each other a little bit and start building that sense of working together. And you know, we just gave you a set of rules around the code of conduct. In addition to that, we wanted to just talk about like what are the ways, not just what things that we shouldn't be doing here, but what are the positive ways that we're going to try to show up in this space? You know, we wanted to give ourselves an opportunity to just reflect on that a little bit. So as a starter to that, to get our juices flowing a bit, we're going to do this thing called Mad Tea Party. It's a short little facilitation technique that will get us talking a bit. The idea is we're going to have you split, the room with 2 different rows of people. So you're going to be facing apart from one other person. Catherine, do you mind coming up and being my example person? And we're going to have an invitation on the screen. Start by just introducing yourself to the other person. And then we'll have an invitation up and we'll ask you to just have one person respond to the invitation. It'll be an open-ended question. Talk for 30 seconds or so. I'll ring the bell once. Louder than that. And then that'll indicate the other person starts to talk for 30 seconds. 2 bells is we're going to shift 2 steps to the right. Okay? We have to do it in kind of 2 rows. We normally do this in a circle, but we're going to have to just, because this room's a little bit rectangular. So that's the plan. And then after that, we're going to invite you to get on your computers and just 1 or 2 statements about what are the ways that you feel you can create a positive learning environment this week. Okay? And we'll have that invitation up on the screen as well. So we invite you to get on up, and we'll do this practice. Organizers can definitely get involved. Okay, what first inspired me in this work?
Oh yeah, we can go around. There's too many people.
You might need to hold the mic while I dig into it.
Sure, yeah. Oh man, you know what? You can stand on this thing. So the first person should be talking?
No, the other person. Always these mics are never loud enough, so I might need you to help me.
Stand on the chair. Like some people might not even notice the question on the board yet.
Talking.
Yeah. It's always so fun because they just like go. That's good. You can kind of hear when they talk.
Okay. Take 2 steps to the right.
Yeah, so you guys are going to have to go. So you guys are going to go down there.
Yeah.
2, yeah. Yeah, skip 2 people. 2. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so you can come right here. Yeah, good job. Are you need a person? Who's missing?
The 1 ring we don't really need after a while, so.
Yeah. Their school this year? During their.
Yeah, 2 steps to the right. I belong at Geohackweek because.
Okay. Well, this is the place to be, I guess, right?
Okay, take 2 steps. Say bye to the person. Keep walking. Yeah. The next question is, I know I'm in a positive learning environment when?
I think a positive learning environment. But also when I see people, I guess I got it.
Okay, 2 steps. Take 2 steps. Yeah. I know a team is functioning well when? When everyone finds their partner.
Let's make this the last one, and then the last question can be the invitation around.
Okay. It takes a second for the survey to load when you start the slide.
Yeah.
So maybe you can invite people back to their seats.
Back to seats, and we'll load.
Yeah. So there'll be no more questions after this?
I think it's kind of people are
ready to go. Okay. You want me to say that? Or?
You can say it that we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, we're done.
Thanks for coming, Mike.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Welcome to Geohack.
Lots of excitement.
I know. Yeah. It's so fun. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for your energy and your enthusiasm in participating this morning. It's really fun to hear you kind of get fired up and start talking. So we're going to kind of transition to the next part of today. Before we do that, I've heard some really great conversations when I was walking through the line. I want you to go back to your seat, and we're going to put up a link to a poll everywhere. And I want you to submit, if you want, I invite you to submit the answer to the question that's on the screen right now, which is what are the ways that we can create a positive learning environment for everyone over the next week? And by we, I mean you, your peers, us, the organizers, and kind of like what Anthony was saying, it's like, how do you want to show up? And how will how you show up affect our ability to learn today? So go ahead, find your computer. I'll put the link to the poll up and tell the person you're talking to, thanks, nice to meet you. Yeah. If you're on your computer, it's really easy. You just do the pull.ev.com and then / my name, well, almost my name 557 if you're on your laptop. Or if you want to do it on your phone, you can enter the 22333 in the number part and then send that text with Catherine Koo 557. And then once you send the text, it'll say, welcome to the poll, and it'll allow you to submit your response. So we're going to just take a couple minutes here and the responses will show up on the screen. We're going to take a couple minutes here to think about this and submit a response if you like. And now is a great time if you want to use the restroom, step outside and have a sip of water. And then after about 3 minutes, we're going to transition to the next section for today, which will be with Ben on GitHub.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry about that. Let me make an announcement.
It's okay.
Yeah. Check. If anyone's having trouble connecting to the wireless, just let me know. Yeah.
We're going to start back up again in about 2 minutes.
This door actually locks, but I'll wedge something in there. All right, everyone. We're going to get started on our first tutorial.